Hello and welcome to Arizona Cat's Eye. I'm Emily Kay.
And I'm Micah Montill. Arizona Cat's Eye is a student-produced news broadcast from the University of Arizona School of Journalism.
We bring you stories from around the state as well as the University of Arizona and the city of Tucson. The Marana Police Department is in the national spotlight after one of its officers rammed his patrol car into an armed man. The department is defending the 2-year veteran of the force. Arizona Cat's Eye reporter Nicole Cousins is here in the studio to tell us more.
That's right, Emily. The Pima County Attorney's Office says it will not charge Officer Michael Rapico in the February incident. The incident was caught on his dash cam as well as fellow Officer Dan Rawan's dash cam. The video was just released and instantly went viral. We should caution, some of you may find it disturbing. Mario Valencia allegedly committed a string of crimes in Marana on February 19th that led to this violent car crash.
Oh! Man down!
It's taken from two different angles. This one from driver Officer Rapico's view. As soon as the department released the video on April 14th, it received worldwide attention at a time when police are under heavy scrutiny. But Marana PD says Rapico actually did the right thing.
Now, this is a subject that's very violent, that's very dangerous. He's got a loaded .30-30 rifle, which is a high-powered hunting rifle. And that round fired from that weapon would go through a police officer's vest, probably the front and the back without ever stopping. And it would go through our police cars as well. So it's a very dangerous situation for our officers.
You can see the wall behind me Rapico ran into when he hit Valencia. Now Marana PD says that is not an act of police brutality, but rather a creative solution to a dangerous problem, especially considering stray bullets could have hit cars going southbound or northbound on I-10 across the street.
We had to state what we believed, or what I believed as the chief, because it's important that officers know that if they make a tough decision and it's the right decision, that they're going to be supported on that. And I think that's kind of where we were at in this.
Put the gun down! Just put the gun down!
At one point, police say Valencia pointed his gun, which he reportedly stole from a Walmart down the street, at Officer Rawan, which Rosima says Rawan did not see because he was talking to a civilian. Incident reports claim Valencia then fired into the air. That's when Rapico hit Valencia with his police cruiser in front of Continental Ranch Self-Storage. Workers there say the officer's actions likely saved lives.
Considering the circumstances, I don't believe it was police brutality. The guy had already proven he was a threat by breaking the law three times earlier in the day.
After his alleged crime spree, Valencia spent 2 days in the hospital before going to jail and faces 11 felony counts. As for Officer Rapico, he spent 3 days on administrative leave, and the incident is now under review by the Marana Police Department. Police Chief Terry Rosima says that Rapico's actions were absolutely the best choice. For Arizona Cat's Eye, I'm Nicole Cousins.
The state of Arizona is mourning the loss of former Arizona Governor Raul Castro. The state's 14th governor died April 10th in San Diego. He was 98 years old. Castro was Arizona's first and only Hispanic governor, serving from 1974 to 1977. Born in Mexico near the Arizona border, his family moved to Pur de Ville near Douglas, Arizona. Castro was a prosecutor and Superior Court judge before running for governor, and he also served as an American ambassador to 3 Latin American countries. He resigned as governor after just 3 years in office when President Jimmy Carter appointed him to serve as the American ambassador to Argentina. Castro returned to Arizona in 1980, where he practiced law until his retirement. Castro is survived by his wife, 2 daughters, 5 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. His ashes will be interred in a private ceremony at the Sedona Community Cemetery.
The pods and tents that covered downtown sidewalks in March are gone, and the city wants it to stay that way. City officials are working on a new ordinance that would ban what they call urban camping anywhere in Tucson. The ordinance would require police arrest anyone camping on public property if he or she refuses to leave or accept public services.
We don't have to go through the same problem that we did this year. We'll have the tools in place to say you can't pitch a tent on Congress.
But the opponents of the ordinance say it targets the homeless and criminalizes basic survival needs like sleep. The City Council hasn't voted on a measure yet. A decision, though, is expected by the fall.
More than a third of homeless youth in the U.S. identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning, and studies show many of them do not go to shelters because they have experienced or are afraid of experiencing harassment and discrimination. Arizona Cat's Eye reporter Kelsey Thorid brings us more on this story.
Mariana is your typical teenager. She likes to hang out at the park and loves a good selfie. She is also transgender.
I know who I am and I know who I want to be.
Mariana lives in a hotel with her mom and 3 siblings, but says many of her transgender peers are not as lucky.
They find places to sleep.
It's estimated that 1 in 5 transgender individuals in the U.S. has experienced homelessness at some point in their life.
Their parents or family don't really support who they are and how they identify, and so they're more at risk of becoming homeless.
40% of all the homeless youth in the U.S. identify as LGBTQ. Many of them say they are hesitant to use shelters like this one because they're afraid of being harassed or even assaulted.
If you can just think about the harassment that would come out of being in a space where the people who are there are seeing your sex and your gender as non-matching. Makes people really uncomfortable.
At shelters, people are assigned to facilities based on their sex. This can make transgender individuals feel uncomfortable and out of place.
They do face some criticizing from other clients. It does happen, but we do our best to control it.
LGBTQ advocates say shelters should give more weight to the sexual orientation of a person when assigning housing. But shelter employees disagree.
We just don't discriminate. But we don't say, oh, because you're gay, you get to be on top of the list either. We treat everyone equally.
Mariana has never used a shelter, but says she still knows how it must feel.
It's kind of like jail too, so you don't know where they're going to place you.
Most shelters say they have policies against discrimination and do their best to make clients feel safe. For Arizona Cat's Eye, I'm Kelsey Thorid.
There have been talks of building an LGBTQ-only shelter, but it is unclear where the funding would come from.
Tucson veterans are getting help from one of their own when it comes to filing disability claims. Dan Ross spends his day talking to injured vets and helping them acquire disability status through the Veterans Association medical system. Veterans who are injured while serving in the military are able to file for disability status to help lower their out-of-pocket medical costs.
I know how important my disability is to me. I know the difference it can make in a family's life. That's my driving force, the difference it can make.
Once veterans are categorized as fully disabled, the VA will pay for all of the veterans' medical bills. The VA estimates 22 American veterans commit suicide every day. In response, Congress passed the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention for Americans Veterans Act in February. Ruben Cordoba has post-traumatic stress disorder after serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. Cordoba says he's not suicidal, but claims therapy and treatment haven't helped his condition.
But every time I've gone to group sessions and talked about it, it triggered something in my mind to where it took me 4, 5, 6 months to finally start getting over it.
According to the Veterans Affairs website, veterans with PTSD are more likely to commit suicide. The Clay Hunt Act requires the VA to work with nonprofits and keep enough mental health professionals on staff. According to the Veterans Affairs website, veterans with PTSD are more likely to commit suicide. The Clay Hunt Act requires the VA to work with nonprofits and keep enough mental health professionals on staff.
Coming up, fraternities at the University of Arizona are under fire again.
One local artist speaks up for the importance of art in classrooms.
Plus, we'll learn what the future holds for the historical Rillito Park racetrack. All that and more when Arizona Cat's Eye returns.
Hi guys, I'm Arizona Cat's Eye reporter Ali Aldretti with What's Trending. Today we have 2 insanely adorable videos of babies reacting to the sound of music. Take a look.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Mama, show me how you move it. Go ahead, put your back into it. Do your thing like it ain't one, two, shake.
How adorable. Now back to the studio.
From From racist chants to hazing, fraternities across the U.S. have been in hot water, and chapters at the University of Arizona are no different. In March, Delta Sigma Phi was kicked off campus, making it the 6th fraternity in just 3 years to lose university recognition for conduct violations. Dean of Students Kendall Washington White said chapter members engaged in hazing, endangerment, and providing alcohol to minors. White says following university guidelines will keep fraternities in good standing. Today, only 4 of the 16 fraternities on campus are in good standing with UA.
Students around the world now have a chance to get a UA degree without ever stepping foot on campus. The University of Arizona is joining other universities in offering undergraduate degrees fully online. The UA offers 21 programs from communication to philosophy and meteorology, and the courses cost, the same as any other UA degree, around $500 per credit. That's about $16,000 a year for a full-time student, and it doesn't matter where you are, tuition is the same regardless of your residency. The program starts in the fall of 2015.
Some parents are worried a well-rounded education is a thing of the past. Molly Baker has more.
Art is usually thought of as a hobby, but for Wesley Fawcett-Cray, art is her career and way of life. Fawcett-Cray says she owes her inspiration to her high school art teachers.
They were great examples and role models that, their job was primarily as artists and secondarily as arts educators. So it really changed my perspective. Like, wow, this is an actual way of life.
Soon, schools may not have any art programs.
Here at Roscrooge, the elementary art classes have already been cut. Middle school art classes are funded by special grants that art teachers have to apply for, not TUSD.
Roscrooge Middle School art teacher Amy Orr is worried she might lose her job.
Principals have to reevaluate their budget, and it's usually the music and the art that's up for debate whether or not they can keep it as part of the program. It's never your math or science or social studies. I'm sure the elected teachers will be the first to go.
The Southern Arizona Arts and Cultural Alliance annual Chalk Festival wants to put art supplies back in kids' hands. It says fostering creativity is important for inspiring the next generation. Parents brought their kids to the Park Place Mall to give them opportunities they may be missing in school.
Whenever they have arts in schools, it gives them a little more creativity and ties into all the academics. So by cutting the arts, you actually impact all of the academic part of it.
So often parents will come up and be like, our kids love to draw. How do we encourage them? How do we keep them going on it? And I tell them to get them in classes, expose them to art, really make it a part of their lives.
The Center for Arts Education in New York City found that art programs affect high school graduation rates. Schools that offer more art classes also have more graduates. For Arizona Cat's Eye, I'm Molly Baker.
To learn more about community art classes offered around Tucson, go to our Facebook page.
The Southern Arizona AIDS Foundation hosted its 12th annual Moda Provocateur fashion show. 8 clothing designers and local salons teamed up to create runway looks in support of the Southern Arizona AIDS Foundation. Artifact Dance Project and Breakout Studios performed between salon showings to the nearly 1,000 people who attended. The event raised $88,000, making it the most successful show to date.
It's money that we raise at that event that can go directly back to programs and services. So it's going 100% of what we raise in the community stays here.
SAFE uses about $7 million each year for programs and free HIV testing in rural communities. Moda is one of 6 major fundraising events hosted by SAFE.
Horse racing at Rillito Park Racetrack was almost shut down because it wasn't making enough money. But just this year, funding came from the nonprofit organization, the Rillito Park Foundation, which raised thousands of dollars to keep the park in business. Established in the 1940s, the racetrack is a historic piece of Tucson and the birthplace for quarter horse racing, galloping at high speeds for short distances. Fans say it's hard to believe they almost didn't have a place to go.
If they take the racetrack away, we have no reason to come here. And I don't think it's good for the Tucson area to give up.
According to the general manager, this season has been one of the most successful in years. Racing begins in February every year and runs until around mid-April.
Reed Park Zoo has new education programs that give visitors hands-on experience with wild animals. The park hopes the new attractions will help break last year's record of 500,000 guests. The zoo is offering new interactive backstage tours and camel rides that bring visitors face-to-face or neck-to-neck with their favorite animals.
You also get to learn a little more in depth about each of the animals that we feature and why they are so important and also so great for people to be able to come and meet.
The money from the programs go towards zoo development, like building a new home for the gibbons or paying for older animals' medications, like park favorite Yabonga. A popular high school sport could be putting your child at risk for long-term health problems. Stay tuned, Arizona Cat's Eye will be back. Should banning plastic bags be up to businesses or the government? Some Arizona lawmakers say businesses should have the right to make that decision. Arizona Cat's Eye reporter Angeline Carbajal has more.
Arizona Senate Bill 1241 would stop cities and towns from banning the use of plastic bags. The Tucson Food Conspiracy Co-op made the move to ban plastic bags several years ago.
After, I think, some of our managers really seeing bags around the casino, kind of floating around Tucson, and realizing that we had that kind of potential, the power to make a minor change that would really impact what the co-op was doing.
Some people say plastic bags come in handy for garbage and carrying around items other than groceries. But shopper Jenna Regan says paper bags can be used for anything plastic bags are used for.
I use paper bags for trash, like, all the time. So yeah, that's actually one of the main things I use, is just use the paper bag as a trash can under the sink and then, or recycle.
Last April, Bisbee was the first and only city in Arizona to ban the use of plastic bags. Local shops in the Safeway charge 5 cents for brown recyclable paper bags, like this one. Cities like Tempe and Flagstaff wanted to take on a similar model.
Bisbee lawmakers say they banned plastic bags to protect the environment.
You can visibly see that less plastic bags stuck to cactus around Bisbee. Certainly our objective is not to move from plastic to paper, but rather to eliminate bags altogether.
If people don't want to use plastic bags, it's our right to say no more plastic bags. It's causing problems for the environment, for the economy. We should be able to ban them.
Since November 2012, the city of Tucson has required major grocery stores like Fry's and Target to collect plastic bags for recycling. Between June and September of last year, more than 21 million plastic bags were given out and 69 tons were recycled in Tucson. The bill has passed through the House and Senate and is waiting on the governor's decision. For Arizona Cat's Eye, I'm Angeline Carvajal.
If approved, cities would no longer be able to force businesses to charge a fee for plastic or paper bags.
It's time for spring cleaning. If you come across old paint, cleaning supplies, or other chemicals, don't throw them away. Household hazardous waste, or HHW, are products in your home that could cause potential danger to you and your family. Tucson HHW, a program funded by Pima County, recycles hazardous household materials every Saturday morning. If products are mostly full and not expired, other residents can pick them up for free. HHW also collects a variety of repurposed paint that can be purchased for $15 to $25.
It's rattlesnake season and your furry friend could be in danger. A local business offers 15-minute sessions that teach your dog to recognize and avoid 17 different types of venomous rattlesnakes. Animal Experts Incorporated trains dogs to fear the smell, sight, and sounds of rattlesnakes. Dogs are introduced to a muzzled or defanged snake using a shock collar to show them that these reptiles are dangerous.
I knew what to expect. She said they'll use a shock collar. They just want them to like have this really negative association, and it was really easy.
Sessions range from $65 to $99 per dog, and follow-up sessions are free. The program runs from April until late June.
Some of the world's largest mirrors are being produced in our own backyard. The University of Arizona Steward Observatory Mirror Lab creates giant mirrors for telescopes to give us images of space never seen before, and it's right underneath the Arizona football stadium. The location has benefits for the university as well as the professionals that work there. If you'd like to see these mirrors up close, tours are offered daily.
After more than 5 NFL players retired early because of concussion worries, some players wonder if the game is worth the risk. Arizona Cat's Eye reporter Molly Baker is in studio with more.
At least 3 UA football players have left the program because of head injuries since 2010. I talked to one of those players to ask him what he thinks about the future of football.
CJ Dozier had been playing football since he was 9 years old, but after less than a year playing for the U of A, he got a concussion that ended his career. He says it was like any other practice running tackling drills. He got a headache, but that was normal.
So I didn't really think anything of it, and I just kept practicing like normal, and by the end of practice, I was just really out of it. Everything was very slow for me.
After 3 weeks of tests, doctors told Dozier if he continued playing football, he would be putting his health at risk.
I was so cognitively impaired, it was like pretty scary. I would forget why I parked every day. It kind of sunk in, like maybe I really do need to reevaluate what I'm doing right now.
Dr. Bruce Helming says when concussions occur, the brain hits the inside of the skull, causing trauma. Helming says most of the symptoms are cognitive.
So the functioning of the brain at a higher level. So that's things like memory and attention, and then some of the physical symptoms, which would be headache, nausea, dizziness.
Since 2010, USA Football League has required all high school coaches be trained to notice these symptoms of head injury.
Here at Cienega High School, football coach Pat Nugent says the game of football isn't changing anytime soon. What is changing is the way that players are trained.
I think teaching the game has changed a little bit, understanding how to tackle, where to put your head, keeping your head out of the tackle. And if there is an injury, is monitoring it the best we can.
But Dozier says he wouldn't change anything about the sport he still loves.
We love to see the drama. We love to see somebody get knocked out. That's when people cheer the loudest. This is a violent game. This is a game that is morally questionable, but we love it.
While Dozier doesn't play football anymore, he plans on assistant coaching at Chapman University while he attends grad school.
The NFL has added new rules against hitting above the shoulders and has come down hard on players who don't follow the rules. The league reports a 23% drop in concussions caused by helmet-to-helmet collisions. For Arizona Cat's Eye, I'm Molly Baker.
Up next, Danielle Carpenter joins us with sports.
Welcome back to What's Trending. I'm Arizona Cat's Eye reporter Nicolina Patton. These adorably cute animals prove that no matter how different, anyone can be best of friends.
Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other has to say. Reminiscing this and that and having such a good time. Oodle-lolly, golly, what a day.
Back to you guys in the studio. Welcome back to Arizona Cat's Eye. I'm Danielle Carpenter with sports. One Arizona baseball player is having a career season at the plate. Arizona second baseman Scott Kingery isn't what you would expect for a player leading the nation in hitting. He stands at 5'11" and weighs 175 pounds, not the makeup of most power hitters.
I mean, I've never had this much pop, so I don't know what's going on right now. Something got into me, but yeah, I just feel really good at the plate right now.
The Phoenix native joined the Wildcats as a walk-on, but is now one of the team's key players. He started this year as one of 2 preseason All-Americans for Arizona and led all Division I players in batting average for the first 2 months of the season. The other player with preseason All-American honors is shortstop Kevin Newman. Both are expected to enter the MLB draft in June. Pro baseball is back in the desert. Many thought it was over, but it's made a comeback, bringing scores of big names and big bucks to Tucson. Arizona Cat's Eye reporter Nicole Cousins has the latest.
It's been a while since former MLB catcher Miguel Olivo spent time at Quito Veterans Memorial Stadium. In fact, it's been almost 2 years since any team called the field home. But pro baseball is back in Tucson. M1 Baseball signed a deal with Pima County in January, bringing 4 Mexican Baseball League teams to Tucson for spring training.
Because I started here with the White Sox in 2001 as a rookie, and then in this field here we play against Arizona. It's something refreshing my mind. When I used to be more young, and then now it's like I'm 33 years old, and then I still feeling like the first day I got here.
For athletes like Olivo and younger players new to the professional scene, the relocation means more opportunity to be noticed by scouts, something that was difficult to come by when teams stayed in Mexico for spring training.
The scouts have come here today to evaluate the players, so they're getting a look at the young kids that we have in the Mexican League and see if there's enough talent there to maybe sign one of those guys to one of the major league teams.
The Tucson Padres was the last team to play here at Keno Stadium. They have since moved to El Paso, Texas. Now the Mexican Baseball League has taken over, playing 12 games here in March, including 2 against the Chicago Cubs and Texas Ranger AAA affiliate teams.
The reason we chose Tucson was, there were several reasons. One was the proximity to the border, to Mexico.
M1 Baseball also chose Tucson for its proximity to MLB spring training in Phoenix. The long-term goal is to make Tucson the hub for Mexican League spring training. For Arizona Cat's Eye, I'm Nicole Cousins.
Alcaraz says M1 Baseball has contracted Keno Stadium through October, and they plan to expand to 6 teams next spring. Soccer fans in the Old Pueblo recently got to see one of the game's all-time greatest players live in action. Germany women's national team captain Nadine Angerer was in Tucson the final week of March, training with Portland Thorns FC at Keno Sports Complex. 2 years ago, she became the first goalkeeper, male or female, to win FIFA World Player of the Year at 35. It's an honor that she is proud of, but still gives most of her credit to her teammates.
I wanted the trophy, but it's representative
of the whole team.
Representative of the whole team.
Spring Fling at the U of A was another success this year. It brought in more than 25,000 people. They came from across the state to enjoy a day of family fun. This year there were 30 rides, including the Cliffhanger and the Flying Dutchman. Attendees enjoyed food, shopping, and games. Spring Fling is the largest student-run carnival in the country, bringing in money for UA clubs and organizations.
Although popular from the 40s through the 70s, pinball machines nearly disappeared in the 80s, but D&D Pinball keeps the game alive in Tucson. D&D Pinball is a small arcade on 7th Street and 4th Avenue near downtown Tucson. It's been open for 2 years and has 30 pinball machines that continue to capture the attention of parents and children. The price for games ranges from 25 to 75 cents. Co-owners Robert Noble and Constance Negli hope to keep the D&D Pinball a place that families and friends can enjoy.
I mean, our goal is to be here 30 years, 40 years from now. We want to be a staple, in the community and provide fun for everybody.
And that's our program. For all of these stories and more, visit us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Thank you for watching.